Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Liverpool in open dialogue with Marc Guehi ahead of January arrival. Marc Guehi could be on his way to Liverpool as soon as the January transfer window opens after they failed with an 11th-hour move for him, sources have told Football Insider. Speaking on the latest edition of Football Insider's Inside Track podcast, senior correspondent Pete O'Rourke revealed what sources have told him about Liverpool's so far flawed attempts to sign Guehi. Guehi played 76 minutes of England's 2-0 victory over Andorra on Saturday in his first appearance since that deadline day collapse, which saw Oliver Glasner give Crystal Palace an ultimatum over their captain. Glasner personally intervened to prevent Guehi's last-minute sale after the two clubs agreed a £35 million transfer fee, and that leaves the January window as Palace's last opportunity to avoid losing him for free. Football Insider revealed on September 6 that Liverpool want to save a lot of money on Guehi and wait until his contract expires, but January gives them an opportunity to beat other big clubs to his signature. Sources have told Football Insider that Liverpool are still front-runners to sign Guehi and are in open dialogue with the defender over his future, with a view to finalising a move for the 25-year-old either in January or next summer. Marc Guehi given Liverpool boost, "We'd love to bring you here." Football Insider revealed on September 3 that Crystal Palace will demand £25 million for Guehi in the January window, with Liverpool weighing up whether to pay a fee and ensure he ends up at Anfield. Speaking on the new Inside Track podcast, O'Rourke stated that Guehi is still being steered towards a move to Merseyside after his collapsed move, with a decision set to be made by both parties in January. "I'm sure there will be interest from other clubs in January, with Palace having their last opportunity to cash in on Guehi," he told Football Insider. "Once the transfer window reopens, he can either stay and run down his contract, or other big clubs will make offers for him. Liverpool are still front-runners. They probably spoke to Guehi once the move did collapse. We still want you, we would love to bring you to Anfield." There's still open dialogue between him and Liverpool over a potential move, whether that's in January or next summer. Liverpool likely to pay up for Marc Guehi after fee agreed. Crystal Palace have been criticised for bad business after retaining their captain only to potentially lose him for free in 12 months' time, but Liverpool's lateness in agreeing a deal leaves blame on both sides. Palace had already cashed in on Eberechi for £60 million and Yeremy Pino only arrived to replace him with 3 days of the window left, and they would have been left with a matter of hours to replace Guehi. Our second news is, top-level attacking star has now confirmed Liverpool's interest in signing him. A player who has been described as a top-level attacking star has confirmed that Liverpool were interested in signing him this summer, going on to discuss his future. The Reds now can't sign new players until the January transfer window, but it's fair to say that they had a wonderful summer in the transfer market. Missing out on Marc Guehi was admittedly disappointing, leaving Liverpool feeling slightly short at centre-back, but Alexander Isak has come in, with the Premier League champions breaking their transfer record twice in the same summer. Another player who was linked with a move to Anfield was Lyon winger Malick Fofana, and the Belgian has now confirmed that Liverpool were among the clubs who wanted to snap him up, in quotes provided by Sport Witness. There was interest from those two clubs, but ultimately it wasn't concrete enough. "I've thought about a transfer, but I think it's more important now that I play a lot, and that has to happen at Lyon. Because I still have progress to make. Of course, dreams of starting at the World Cup, but I realize I still have a lot to prove. I've already made progress, I'm now more decisive and more involved in the game. Am I the rising star of De Rode Duivels? Well, I'm just a normal lad and I'm keeping my cool. I don't focus on the media either, I just do what I love to do, dribble and score." Is Fofana an ideal future signing for Liverpool? Fofana is a big talent with a bright future in the game, already bagging 24 goal contributions in 65 appearances for Lyon by the age of just 20, also being hailed as a top-level player by Pierre Sage. Predominantly a left-sided attacking player, Fofana could come in as competition for Cody Gakpo, although Liverpool may be wary of blocking Rio Nguma's pathway into the squad. That said, the Lyon ace can also flourish on the opposite flank, so Arne Slot could potentially view him as a long-term replacement for Mohamed Salah, should he feel he can excel on the right on a regular basis. For now, though, Liverpool's attacking options feel strong, especially after signing Isak, so a move for Fofana may not be revisited until next summer. Stay tuned for all the latest Anfield news, transfer updates, and big developments around Arne Slot's squad. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more Liverpool news daily. Our third news is Liverpool transfer news. Forward encouraged to fight like hell for move. Liverpool have made a lot of bold calls this summer, not least with players already at the club. The expenditure on transfers has been record-shattering, and while it has been facilitated in part by the sales agreed, over £200 million has still be spent if we look at the net spend figures, which is a lot. Arne Slot's defensive and attacking units have been upgraded significantly, for a mixture of reasons, not least because players wanted out alongside the fact that some weaknesses needed resolving. But once the squad's refurbishment had taken place, a couple of players needed convincing to stick around because not every single area on the pitch had received quite enough recruitment. Federico Chiesa was one player who might have looked at leaving this summer, but instead he's stuck around. Italian media criticize Chiesa's decision. After scoring the Reds' third goal against Bournemouth on the opening day of the Premier League season, it was difficult to consider the Italian forward's choice to stay on Merseyside as a mistake. He didn't start the contest, but he made a difference to the team. You felt it might be a new beginning for him. But just a couple of weeks later, he's been axed from the Champions League squad to make room for Lyon Gumaha, meaning he's only available for Premier League and domestic cup matches. As a senior player, he would have hoped to be involved in all competitions, but his season has already been somewhat blunted, despite impressing early on. You feel he's been lied to somewhere. Getting into the Italian national team squad for the World Cup at the end of the season is his main ambition, and if he's not in the slot's preferred 22 players, then staying at Liverpool was a mistake. This is certainly the perspective that's coming from the Italian sports media, specifically Antonello Valentini, who spoke to Maracana, a Tutto Mercato web radio broadcast earlier this week. He said, "In my opinion, Chiesa handled himself poorly. I was rooting for him to return to Italy, given that he was even interested in Napoli. Last year he played very little at Liverpool, and this year will be the same. In his place, I would have fought like hell to return to Italy. Gattuso certainly can't call up someone who doesn't play, especially because it wouldn't be fair to those who do play consistently for their respective clubs." Throughout his career, Chiesa had shown he has technical ability, but not mental ability. And if we're honest, it's a pretty fair assessment of the situation. Slot clearly doesn't see him in his plans to the extent that the fans would like him to be used, and the decision had caused uproar. Of course, the UEFA squad is only for the league phase of the Champions League, so he might have an opportunity to redeem himself if the club proceeds to the knockout stages, and the other competitions are certainly valuable platforms for him to make a difference in. But it's a setback for Chiesa, no doubt. He's facing an uphill battle to achieve what he wants, and while Liverpool might be grateful that he didn't fight like hell for a move, it could be his undoing. Stay tuned for all the latest Anfield news, transfer updates, and big developments around Arne Slot's squad. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more Liverpool news daily. Our fourth news is Alexander Isak caught in dressing room storm as Newcastle player responds. A Newcastle United player has addressed the Alexander Isak rumours. Newcastle United's Emil Croft has addressed stunning claims that Alexander Isak's departure caused a rift within the Magpies squad. Isak's protracted transfer saga ended on deadline day when he finally secured a move to Liverpool, who agreed a British record fee of £125 million with Newcastle. He went on strike at Newcastle to force his transfer to Anfield and has yet to feature this season, but the star forward was called up to the Sweden squad for their World Cup qualifiers as he stunned Liverpool fans after training footage emerged. Newcastle defender Croft also earned a spot in John Dahl Tomasson's squad. He fielded questions from the media and was naturally asked about his ex-club colleague. In doing so, Croft dismissed claims that Isak's transfer to Liverpool has caused a rift within the Newcastle dressing room. There were many who wanted to see Alex stay, but you understand how football works, he told Swedish outlet Sportbladet. I wish him all the best in the future. For me, Alex is not just a footballer, but a close friend too. Croft added, the media wrote that the locker room would be divided. That is certainly not true. Football players understand football players, and we can only wish him the best of luck. As Anthony Elanga said, it has been very chill. No one has said or done anything. It is just taken out of thin air. You understand his and the club's situation. Of course, they would have wanted to keep him, he is an incredibly good football player. Isak was an unused substitute in Sweden's 2-2 draw with Slovenia on Friday. They resume their World Cup qualifying campaign on Monday when they meet Kosovo. It remains to be seen whether Tomasson will play Isak, having picked Arsenal's Viktor Gyökeres to lead the line against Slovenia. The 25-year-old could make his first Liverpool appearance when they resume their Premier League campaign on September 14 against Burnley. Alexander Isak training footage stuns Liverpool fans after Newcastle exile. The former Newcastle United forward completed a British record £125 million move to Liverpool on transfer deadline day. Liverpool supporters were quick to offer their thoughts on social media after training footage of Alexander Isak was released. Isak, 25, finally signed for Liverpool on transfer deadline day for a British record fee of £125 million, bringing a summer-long saga to a close by penning a 6-year contract with the Premier League champions. The Swede has not played a competitive match since he featured in Newcastle's 1-0 home defeat against Everton on the final day of the 2024-25 campaign. For much of the window, Isak kept a low profile until he released a bombshell statement in which he accused Newcastle of breaking promises, which the club denied. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more Liverpool news. Our fifth news is Fabrizio Romano confirms extraordinary move for Liverpool star. Liverpool fans have been given a chance to catch their breath this week after an exhausting end to the summer transfer window. A lot of deals were signed off on and it was difficult to catch up. The headline moves were Alexander Isak's arrival from Newcastle and Harvey Elliott's departure to Aston Villa on a loan deal that they are obliged to make permanent if he makes enough appearances, but a lot could have happened that didn't, such as Marc Guehi's move from Crystal Palace to the Reds, which went as far as a medical having been completed, before negotiations then collapsed. And contingent on the English centre-back's arrival was the future of Joe Gomez, a Liverpool veteran who had moves rumoured to AC Milan and the Eagles before the window eventually closed. Gomez to Brighton was a strong possibility. Fabrizio Romano, speaking to Men in Blazers on his Here We Go podcast, has clarified the 28-year-old situation, and it's actually remarkable that he's still going to be a Liverpool player this season. He said, on Joe Gomez, I think it had been an interesting deadline day because yes, AC Milan were ready to go for him, but then in the early morning they understood that the Guehi deal was going to be dangerous until the very end, and they couldn't wait until 6, 7, 8 p.m. to get the deal done. But Gomez was close to joining Brighton. There was a strong possibility for him to go to Brighton from what I understand. There were some problems in the deal which is why it collapsed, especially regarding the coverage of his salary, but Gomez was a target in the final 24 hours of the window. Perhaps for Liverpool it was better like this, also because the Guehi deal collapsed in the final seconds of the window and so they can now complete their centre-back lineup. As such, even though we never heard anything about the negotiations, Gomez could have moved away. It must be said, the last sentence of Fabrizio's update is certainly what a lot of Liverpool fans might be thinking right now. Going into the season with at least 4 centre-backs is absolutely imperative. Even if Gomez didn't join Crystal Palace in return, his departure from Merseyside was dependent on the arrival of Guehi, which didn't come to fruition. It's definitely fortunate that Gomez is still with us. But moving forward, we're now presented with a whole host of options to consider, if Brighton and Milan retain their interest in him when the January window opens this winter or maybe next summer. The links surrounding a departure didn't come out of nowhere. The 28-year-old is unlikely to be in Liverpool's plans moving forward, given his age and injury record, and since his contract expires in 2027, meaning next summer will be the last opportunity for Liverpool to secure a proper fee for him. While he's sitting tight in Arne Slot's squad for the short term, he's favoured for a move elsewhere. Our last news is Lyon's Malick Fofana reveals why move to Liverpool did not happen despite interest from Arne Slot. Liverpool had a hugely successful summer as a whole, but in the end, not all moves materialized. The Reds spent £446 million this summer, the most ever spent by a Premier League club in a single window, beating the £434.5 million spent by Chelsea in the summer of 2023. The scary thing is that it could have been even more too, as the Marc Guehi deal would have added another £35 million to that total. Although he obviously came the closest to making the switch to Anfield, there were a few others often linked throughout the last few months, with Lyon's Malick Fofana one of these. The Belgian wanted to leave at first but was waiting for a Champions League club to make a bid, although he decided to stay after that did not happen. Fofana himself has now spoken out about the situation, with the 20-year-old revealing why a move to Liverpool did not occur. Malick Fofana wants game time so he can play at the World Cup. This season is vital for almost all players as the World Cup is right around the corner and everyone will want to be a part of their national team to compete. This applies to players like Fofana especially as the quality is there and he is certainly on the verge of being picked. He just needs consistent playing time to continue proving why he is worth the gamble. This is something the winger recognized and played a key role in his decision to stay at the club, even if there was a small bit of interest from elsewhere. There was interest from those two clubs, but ultimately it wasn't concrete enough, Fofana told HBVL. I thought about a transfer, but I think it's more important now that I play a lot, and that has to happen at Lyon. Because I still have progress to make, of course. I want to go to the 2026 World Cup, but I realize I still have a lot to prove. I've already made progress. I'm now more decisive and more involved in the game. I'm just a normal lad and I'm keeping my cool. I don't focus on the media either, I just do what I love to do, dribble and score. Fofana has made the team for the World Cup qualifiers going on this week, suggesting that if he continues at Lyon the way he is, then he will be at the tournament come June. Liverpool could go back in for Malick Fofana next summer. Despite the amount Liverpool have spent this summer, many still believe they are a little short of attacking depth, especially at left wing. The Reds have Cody Gakpo and Rio Ngumaha as their natural players in this area, but relying on the latter at just 16 years old seems rather risky. Liverpool did not want to block Ngumaha's path, hence why they did not make a signing this summer, but there is a strong possibility they sign one next year, and this could very well be Fofana. He is a good age, has the experience and has the quality needed, so one more year of consistency might force Liverpool to make a move when the time comes. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.